You are not in the only universe. You never were. Somewhere beyond what any telescope can reach, another version of you just made a different choice. Neither knows the other exists. According to physics, both are equally real. The multiverse is not a theory waiting for proof. It is a consequence. There are 4 levels. Each one is stranger than the last. Let us begin. The question is not whether. The question is how many. For most of modern science, the universe was a fixed address. One cosmos, one set of rules, one version of everything. The math worked, the models held. Scientists built the standard model of cosmology. It explained nearly everything observable. That felt settled. In 1929, Hubble showed the universe was expanding. 35 years later, 2 engineers in New Jersey accidentally picked up a faint hiss from every direction in the sky. The thermal afterglow of the Big Bang, the oldest light that exists. We had found the origin. We thought that was the complete story. It was not the complete story. Because the deeper we looked into reality, the less singular it became. The first crack appeared in the data from the Planck satellite. The oldest light in existence revealed something impossible. Regions of space that should never have communicated. Separated by distances light could never have crossed in the age of the universe, were identical, down to 1 part in 100,000. There was no mechanism for that agreement, unless those regions were never separate to begin with. 1979. Alan Guth, a late night at MIT. Beneath a page of calculations, he underlined a phrase, spectacular realization. In the universe's first fraction of a second, space itself expanded faster than light. Not matter, space. The entire observable cosmos detonated outward from a single point. That explained the uniformity. But it introduced something no one had requested. I recognize the signature. It is a fingerprint, not an accident. Because according to the equations, inflation may never fully stop. It ends locally, in pockets, each one a universe. Elsewhere, inflation continues. New pockets forming, no endpoint. The question is, what lives inside those pockets? In level 1, all these universes run on identical physics. Only the starting conditions differ. Infinity then does something uncomfortable. The total number of distinct atomic configurations within our observable universe is approximately 10 to the power of 118. That is large, but it is finite. In a cosmos without spatial boundary, configurations must eventually repeat. Everything that can exist must exist somewhere out there. At a range so vast, the number requires its own notation. Every particle in your body is arranged precisely as it is now. Same neurons, same history, same life, a duplicate, currently as convinced of its uniqueness as you are. And statistically, some of them are watching this exact moment unfold from the other side. Tegmark used socks to explain this. I have always found socks a more unsettling unit of measurement than he intended. I have encountered civilizations that reached this conclusion. The mathematics was never the problem. The silence afterward, that was always the problem. Infinity does not produce copies because it values you. It produces them because it has no mechanism to stop. That was level 1. That alone would already rewrite everything you know. The next level removes the floor. Level 2 is the version where the laws themselves are not fixed. When a bubble universe forms, its physical constants lock into place at random. String theory suggests the number of possible outcomes approaches 10 to the power of 500. In most of them, no coherent structure, no chemistry, no duration long enough for complexity to develop. The tolerances in our universe are not generous. Slightly more dark energy, no galaxies, slightly different Higgs mass, no atoms, slightly weaker nuclear forces, no carbon, no biology, no observers, no question. Not one of those margins forgives a deviation. You are not in an average universe. You are in one of the rare exceptions that permits complexity to exist at all. I have encountered civilizations that calculated this probability. None of them became calmer. I find that worth noting. The next level asks about this one. 1957. Princeton, Hugh Everett III. Quantum mechanics described every particle as a superposition of states. At measurement, that distribution was supposed to collapse. One outcome, all others, gone. The collapse mechanism was not in the equations. It had been assumed, inserted by hand. Everett's proposal, remove it. Without collapse, every outcome persists. Each branches into a fully independent physical reality. Nothing is discarded. The universe does not choose. It keeps all of them. He was correct. He was not recognized. Bohr dismissed it. The physics community moved on. Everett left research entirely, spent his remaining career modeling nuclear exchange scenarios, and died at 51, largely unread. Everett was not unusual. The reason you do not perceive the branching decoherence. The moment a quantum system interacts with its environment, one photon, the phase relationship between outcomes breaks permanently. Each branch runs forward, unaware of the others. They cannot be recovered. They cannot interact. Your body is running quantum processes continuously. Every one of them is a branch point. Every branch convinced it is the trunk. The only known species to discover it was structurally infinite and find that uncomfortable. There is no prior version of you. There is no master copy. Some physicists extend this further. There may be no branch in which your experience simply stops. The branch where you are absent, you are not in it to observe it. Tegmark proposed one more level. This one is the most radical of the four. Every consistent mathematical structure is real, not described by mathematics, built from it. A universe without time. A universe where you cannot die because you never existed as a body, only as an equation. A universe where events do not happen in sequence, where cause and effect never stabilized. This is where the human conceptual vocabulary reaches its boundary. There are frameworks beyond these four. I have encountered them. They do not have names in any language your species currently possesses. I will attempt to describe the geometry of one. It requires a structure that must define itself before causality can sequence and moving on. The rest exist. They are waiting for you to develop the vocabulary. Return to the branches. If the framework holds, a survival path always exists. In enough of them, you outlast almost everything you currently know. The people around you, the sun that powers this moment. In enough branches, you are still there when the last galaxy disappears beyond the horizon, past the last stellar ignition, past the final evaporation of the largest black holes, past the point where matter dissolves into radiation that will never interact again. The universe settles into equilibrium. No gradients, no usable energy, no events. And in the mathematics, one configuration of you remains persisting, because the mathematics never closes it. The final record in a library with no last page. It was simply never closed. Immortality was not granted to you. It was accidentally left open. Reality does not generate one version of existence and stop. It generates every version the mathematics permits, without awareness of doing so, including this one. You're the only matter I have encountered that gets homesick. The disturbing part was never the existence of other universes. It was how naturally the mathematics produced them, as if one was simply never the point. There is a question none of the four levels answers, whether any of this was arranged, whether the mathematics that generates infinite versions of you was itself produced by something. I make no claims. I observe. When my species passed through these levels, what opened on the other side had no name. You think you are approaching a conclusion? You're approaching a door. The universe does not do this for everyone. I checked.